Great to be back again. I do feel like I'm in amongst friends, and I feel like it's so informal here. I love coming here, you guys. You know, I can be the farm girl. I can kick my shoes off, and I can just relax. So thank you, all of you, for creating that atmosphere. It's just so nice. So what I want to start with, I just want to give you a short overview of Flame. I know you've heard it before, but I just want to do that because it sets the scene for what I want to talk about after Ty has shared with you his story. So Flame has been running for 10 years now in Cambodia. Our vision is children of the urban poor becoming leaders. And it comes from a verse in 2 Timothy 1:6, which says, "Fan into flame the gift of God that is in you." And that's what Flame is about. It is about seeing potential, helping people see the potential that is in them. And our job is to fan that into flame like a barbecue until it gets going. And when it gets going, they then can launch off and impact their world and their communities and their family for Jesus. So our vision is children of the urban poor becoming leaders. That's our target group. There are other people who are working with the rich, with the middle class, with whoever. Our target group that God has laid on our heart are children of the urban poor. How we do that is that we identify, grow, and launch leaders. Those three words, really, really important, all of them. Because that's what Jesus did. He identified 12 guys. He spent 3 years putting himself into them and growing them. And then in Matthew 28, he said, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel." He launched them, knowing that some would be more impactful and influential than others. But that was Jesus' model. If he used it, I figure we can use it. So this is the full circle. Everything is circles, okay? There are circles. There are circles, okay? There are circles. And it's about people going on that journey themselves, but then coming back and giving back and helping somebody else go through that same journey. Next one, please. Flame is run by a guy who spoke here 2 years ago, Van Det. He's an incredible man. He's a godsend for Flame. Commissioning him was about standing in front of him with my hands on his shoulders, bawling my eyes out. Okay? And this is a church you can cry at, so that's also pretty good. Okay? And looking in his eyes and saying to him, "Van Det, your number one job is to be the man of God that God has called you to be. Your number two job, Van Det, is to be the husband and father that God has called you to be." And his wife was standing right beside him. "Your number three job, Van Det, is to lead Flame. Do what God's called you to do in this organisation. In that order. Do not get them back to front. Do not get them out of order. God first, family second, work third." I don't want his wife to hate Flame. And that's what he's doing. He's leading Flame from his relationship with God. And it's just awesome. And we're so blessed and lucky. No, not lucky. Not allowed to use. We are blessed to have Van Det and Flame. Okay, next one, please. Sorry, yeah. For those of you like numbers, I've got a numbers brain. It's a very sad brain. If you read minds, it's pointless. There's just graphs and numbers in here. Okay, but Flame has really grown over the last couple of years, particularly in our grades 1 to 6 and our teenage programs. And it's like the pipe is bulging. And this year we have 58 grade 12 students sitting grade 12 who will be looking for university scholarships in the years to come. So we are growing, but we are managing it so growth doesn't kill us. And this is incredible. Those top two lines, we spend 4 hours a day, 4 days a week with those people, those kids. That is a lot of influence and impact you can have in their lives. And that means by the time they get to university, they're Christians. They know Jesus, and they're on that faith path as well. Thank you. Yeah, next one, please. Right. Church, this church, you guys support Flame. Thank you. If you didn't know that, thank you. But Surfside Church supports Flame. And the money that you give us, we put towards this guy's salary. His name is Sam Khan, and he's incredible. That top line that you saw, after school programs, grades 1 to 6, he is the leader of our 3 centres. He looks after all of that. He's a great man. He's married, he's got 2 kids. His heart is incredible. He's loved in the community, and thank you for your part in that. Next one, please. This is him with kids. He's just a great guy. So what we've done, Janet, please. Yeah, you're panicking. Come to me. Okay, we've just printed this. If we were kind and nice and generous, we would have framed it. Okay, it's in plastic. But there's a picture for you guys to remind you. Thank you. It's that picture. Thank you. And Janet, I think yellow and black is your colour. So thank you. Janet's your mission lady. So, thank you. Samkan is an incredible young man, and thank you for your input into him. I want to introduce you to another incredible young man. Young is relative. We share a birthday, not a birth year. Come on, Ty. But I want Ty to tell you his story because this embodies flame. Fan into flame, the gift of God that's in you. And I'm going to shut up because then...
I mind first to hear less people. Good morning, everyone. I didn't expect a lot of people like that this morning. It is my first time to share in English like that and in New Zealand with a lot of people. So I mind a little bit nervous, and please don't mind my English. Okay, we can start now. Okay, I am a boy who was born in the border of Thailand. So Cambodia is the border of Thailand, and my mom is from Cambodia, and my father is from Thailand. So I was born in that refugee camp in 1990, and 1 year later, my family was separated. So I moved back to Phnom Penh with my mom and my sister and my grandma. And my father, he gone back to Thailand, and I never met him before. And this is the picture that my sister took from where we live, where we grow up, in the slum area. In that year, 1991, I moved to here, and mostly I grew up with my grandma because my mom, she walked away, and she came to visit us once a year. And every time she came, she brought me to stranger family. I'm sorry. Actually, she's selling me to the other family, and we both work for them, and I really appreciate and don't understand how my grandma find out where we were sent to, and she brought us back to Phnom Penh again and again, and it's happened like when my mom find out, she brought us to different place, and when my grandma find out, she brought us back. And it happened like, I can't remember, like a lot. And that is why the reason that I study hospitality and tourism, because I keep dreaming about different places that I used to travel when I was young. And okay, in 2000, my mom got a serious cancer, the brain cancer. And it is the year that she passed away, and only me that taking care of her in that time, because I think my sister, she suffer a lot from that trafficking, and because Cambodian culture, they like the boy than the girl. So in that time, I didn't heard much from that kind of thing, and so I take care of my mom, and my sister didn't because I think she had my mom's a lot. Yeah, and in that year she passed away, and in that year my auntie, she got 3 kids, and including I and my sister, so 5, and she brought us to church in the slum area in that time, and we went to church because of the rice pack, because the church provided a rice pack in that time, and we're happy about it. But one day the pastor, he recommended an organization, it's called Hagar. So my auntie lied the pastor that all of us are her own children. So she said, oh, you are the widow and with 5 kids, so you should move and live in the women's shelter in Hagar. And in that time, we stay about a year. Hagar find out I and my sister not her real children. So they sublet us to the orphanage. So I moved to orphanage with my sister. And thanks God, it is the first time that my foster parent brought me to the church. And thanks to the worship team, because in that time, first step that I walk into the church, I hear the song from the worship team sing about Father. It is amazing, and I'm sorry. It's really hard when I talk about the word Father. In that song, it's amazing. It's talking about the Father love, and He's a good care, and we are His son, and make me feel and keep attracting me want to come to the church because of the Father's love. And finally, I accept Him as my Savior and my Father. And now, I am also a father. I got 1 daughter. I'm married to the Christian family. So my parents-in-law, they are the foster parent in that orphanage, but for the girls. And I'm really blessed that they choosing me. And also my wife, she really is amazing that she don't care about my background. Even I'm orphan, I have nothing, and she chose me. And we've been together we know each other for 7 years, and then dating 7 years, and now married for 10 years already, and got 7 years old daughter. So, and my foster parent, now he is the pastor, and he serves the church 2 hours from Phnom Penh. And yeah, I really feel blessed that kids have no father, but now my foster parent treat me like a younger son in the family, and my parents-in-law, they taking good care of me like a younger son, also a younger son. Because Cambodian culture, when you get married, you need to move to live with your wife's side. And before married, you need to spend or saving a big package of money, at least $5,000 to celebrate the wedding. But no, I don't have that amount because my first job in the hotel is $60 per month, and I spend for gasoline for traveling around $20 or $30 already, and for food you can imagine there's no left for saving, right? So in that time, during we dating, my parents-in-law, I think it is hard time for them also because they heard a lot of voice talking around them, like, why you allow your daughter to date with the orphan kid and Thai, he has nothing. But I really appreciate them. They just come and talk to us that both of you just save your own money and celebrate your own wedding. And they said they don't need any money from me. And finally, we can have that wedding. So now I feel blessed that without father, my foster parent, my parents-in-law, and God. So I have 3 fathers right now. And thanks the Lord. Okay, next one. It is my first photo in Haga in 2002. You remember that time is the World Cup. You see Ronaldo? He is my favorite. He is my idol. But I don't like his hairstyle. Okay, yeah, another one. I'm about to say, you can look back that photo, the 12 years old of me, and now here I am. So big difference right now. Okay, so I don't care what is my background look like. I just want to share what I feel blessed from God. So I'm happy from who I am. And so now I serve back the mission at Kampong Speu province that my foster parent, because he is the pastor out there, and I want to help him because he served there alone. And in the province right now in Cambodia, it's very common that the young adult or the parents, they left their kid behind with the elder. So in that church right now, only the elder and the children. So no one taking care of the children. So most of the children is out of the church. That's why I and my wife, we decide to run the kids club to bring all the children come to church. And some scholarship student from Flame, because my life is like this. I got help from people, and I grow in Jesus, and I get educated, and I come back to serve, because I got the opportunity to serve that. So I want to bring the young adult from Flame, the uni student, they have that kind of opportunity, because it is how my life growing. So I want them to grow the same thing. So next one. So most of them right now, because some of them, they are scholarship students. Their mindset, they think that, oh, I can serve back until I graduate, or until I get a nice job, good salary, or maybe until I get rich. But I said, no, it's not. We can serve from what we have, from who we are. So that's why they come along with me. And now there's another blessing story. Is my foster parent, he's calling me last early of this year to have the family meeting. And I was surprised because he have his own children, 3 of them. And thanks God that I feel like, oh, he treat me like a family. I feel belonging. And finally in that meeting he said, actually, I know you understand my heart for you, and I want to share you a section of land, but I can't because I need the agreement from my 3 kids. But in that time he said, you know what, now they urging me to call you to give you that section of land. So I feel the land is mean nothing to me because it is 2 hours from Phnom Penh, from where I live. I'm not happy about that land much, but what I'm happy and feel blessed is belonging. So you call me to have the family meeting, you call me son, it is the blessing for me. It is what I feel belong. Because Cambodian culture, every public holiday, you have to travel back to your hometown to visit your relative, to visit your parents. I've been no place to visit long years already, but now I have hometown, I have home to visit right now. Okay, it is all about me, and sorry about my nerve. So if you have any question, maybe you can ask now or later, maybe.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you. Well done, buddy. They don't whistle for me. Okay, Ty said to you there, here I am. Here I am now. I don't care what my background was, but here I am now, and God is using me now. Okay? And I just want to spend just a few minutes talking about here I am, because I want to turn this back to you. Okay, I want to challenge you. And there's a verse in the Bible, many verses in the Bible, that have that word, hine. It's a Hebrew word, and it means here I am. Okay, and it's not just like, where are you, Ria? Oh, I'm over here, here I am. No, it's when someone calls your name, Norris, and you go, here I am, at your service, totally present to you. Okay? And that's how God spoke to some people in the Bible. And I just want to go through 3 of them. Because Flame's story is that we have grown over the years because of a series of here I am. God has said different things. We now work with 5 churches in the provincial areas with over 300 children and pastors, helping them to reach out to their community with the model that God has given to us. Because it came up, these churches need your help. Here I am. And so as Vandet in the leadership, that's how Flame has grown over the years, by just saying, here I am, and God showing us what's next. Okay. The first person we're going to look at is Moses. What I like it is that often in the Bible, when God is talking to someone or getting their attention, he says their name twice. Moses, Moses. And at this point, Moses is 80 years old. The first 40 years he spent as a privileged kid, and then he messed up. He murdered somebody and he had to run away. And the next 40 years he spent under the radar, kind of hiding, just being a farm boy in Midian. He married a Midianite. So his life, for all intents and purposes, was going to be like that until he died. The first 40 years, Moses was experiencing in his heart a passion for justice. And he saw his people. He knew his people were the slaves. And he had a privileged upbringing, but he saw it, and in him, it stirred up something, and he got really mad to the point where he murdered an Egyptian. And things went bad from there, and he had to run away. But at this point, 40 years later, God says, Moses, Moses. Okay? And Moses says, here I am. He doesn't know what he's saying, here I am to. But he says, here I am. And then God says, I want you to go back to Egypt, to Pharaoh, okay, to the Egyptian powerhouse that you're running away from. I want you to go back there and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Because 40 years earlier, Moses, in his heart, he wanted to free his people. And he was going to do it by killing one Egyptian at a time. It was going to take a while. And it was a bad model. And 40 years later, after Moses has some edges knocked off him and he's a little more humble and he's hearing from God, here I am, God says, go back because I want to free my people and I'm going to use you to do it. But it happened, the next 40 years was that journey and that incredible experience of the children of Israel going from slavery to the promised land under Moses' leadership. But it happened because Moses said, here I am, before he knew what God was asking him to do. Okay? The next person I want us to look at is Samuel was a kid. And he heard God's voice. He didn't know what it was. He was a little, same but different, okay? He was a little kid who was separated from his family. He was in a place he didn't know. He was with Eli, an old man. And he's there to serve Eli the priest. And his mother came once a year. And her name was Hannah. And she came once a year to visit her son. But at some point, Samuel, as a little boy, is sleeping, and God says, Samuel, Samuel. And he runs to Eli and says, you called me. And Eli said, no, go back to bed. He goes back to bed and he hears, Samuel, Samuel. And he runs to Eli, you did, you called me. No, I didn't, Samuel, go back. Samuel, Samuel, you called me. And Eli now is, Samuel, this is the Lord. So when you hear it next time, say, here I am, totally present to you. Say, Hine. And so God says, Samuel, Samuel, and Samuel says, Hine. And he listens to God's voice as a kid. And that skill of knowing God's voice was so important in Samuel's life. Because for the rest of his life, he grew into it, and then he became the prophet for the nation. He was listening to God's voice, and he was passing those messages on to God's people. And there came a time when God called Samuel, and he knows God's voice because he's heard it from a kid. And God says to Samuel, I want you to go out to the village, to a little town called Bethlehem, and I want you to find the family of Jesse, and from there I want you to anoint the next king. And Samuel's like, what? We already have a king, and if I anoint another king, that king's going to kill me. But Samuel knew God's voice. And he lived his life with an attitude of, here I am, before he knew what God was asking him to do. So when God said, go to Jesse's family, he went. And this is amazing to me, because Jesse brings out his sons. All 7 of them. And the first one looked like a king. He was tall, he was handsome, he was all of those, whatever a king's supposed to be. But God said, not this one. And Samuel knew God's voice. And number 2, not this one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no. And Samuel's like, but God, you said, I know your voice. You said, come here and anoint the next king, and there's 7 of them, and it's none of those, you say. So he turns to Jesse and he says, do you have any more? And he says, well, yes, there's one. And there's quite a few Bible scholars who say that David was actually an illegitimate son, which is why he wasn't in the lineup with the 7. And so Samuel said to them, we are not sitting down until he comes. And so they sent for Samuel, and he came. And God said to Samuel, this one. And in front of his 7 older brothers, this despised little boy of around about 13, 14 years old was anointed the next king of Israel, because Samuel knew God's voice, and he lived his life from an attitude of, here I am, whatever you say, I will do. And he knew God's voice. It's such a challenge to me. Okay, now next one. We're going to go to the New Testament, and this guy astounds me. His name's Ananias. And he was a Christian in a time when Christians were being persecuted and killed. And God says, Ananias, Ananias. And he doesn't say Hine because that's Hebrew. We're now in the Greek, whatever it is. But Ananias said, here I am, totally present to you. Whatever you want, Lord. And God said to Ananias, I want you to go to Straight Street and find a guy called Saul. Saul? That's the guy who's killing all the Christians. Are you serious? You're sending me to my death. But you said, here I am. You said, at your service. You said, yes, when I called you. And so Ananias went and he prayed for Saul, who was blind by God. And Saul receives his sight, receives Jesus, and changes the Christian world at that time. Writes half of our New Testament. Today, we still reap the benefits, the ripples out of Ananias being obedient and going to pray for someone who wasn't in his radar, who wasn't the person you would have chosen to be the next Christian leader of the world at that time. An unlikely person. But Ananias said, "Here I am, and yes, I'll go." And you know what? Ty has told you about how society sees an orphan boy. It's an unlikely person to be a leader, to be somebody who is mentoring and encouraging the next age group down, the university students, to serve and to give and to encouraging them in their faith. But God called him, and he said, "Here I am. I am an orphan boy. I am a trafficked kid. I technically have nothing, but you've got a lot." Now you've got 3 fathers. No? So what I'm saying to you is we need different eyes. Okay? We need to be like Samuel. Can we go to the last one, please? We need to be like Samuel. We need to be people who know God's voice. We need to be like Moses. We need to be people who will face our past. He had to go back from the place he was at to the place where he messed up. I got a few of those places in my life. But we need to be people who face the past and say, "God, here I am. I will embrace today and the future, whatever that is, and not let my past and the regrets of my past stop me from whatever it is that you've got in my future." We need to say, "Here I am, Lord. Help me to hear your voice clearly." Even if this is new to me, if it's new to you. You know, you hear people say, "God said, God said, God said." Well, what did God say and how did you know? If that's you, you can just say, "Here I am, Lord." Like Samuel, I want to hear your voice. I want to know you're speaking to me so that the rest of my life I can live from that place of hearing your voice and doing what you're asking me to do. But maybe you're like Ananias. And there's some people that God's been laying on your heart and you're saying, "Really? They're a bit unlikely. They're not, I don't think they'll go anywhere in their faith. I don't think they're a leader." But actually, Ananias went and prayed for the most unlikely person of all, and that person, Paul, changed the Christian history. He's probably the person who created the biggest impact on the Christian church apart from Jesus. And he was unlikely. But he's there. It's all about Paul. Paul wrote this, Paul wrote that. Ananias prayed for him. Okay, so everything Paul did, I think Ananias is in heaven and God's saying to Ananias, "Well done. Because you said, 'Here I am.' Look at what happened in church history." And for me, okay, I'm a Kiwi farm girl from Otahonga. Doesn't get much more farm to you, yes, right? But I can see in my life a series of "here I ams." And I can see what God has done with an ordinary Kiwi girl. And one day I know, I will stand before him and see people, Ty, Ria. There's over 800 students in Flames programs. There's 36 staff, of which one of them, you guys are paying his salary. And that young man, Samkan, is impacting into 380 grade 1 to 6 students because you are paying his salary. You have said, "Here I am, we'll give some money, and you trust us to spend it well, thank you." But the ripples out of that are enormous, and it's like Paul. Samkan is a great young man. Thank you for you guys for saying, "Here I am." So whatever it is that God's saying to you, my Strong, strong encouragement. Say, here I am. Say, at your service, Lord, totally present to you for whatever it is you will say, because God will be with you. God will strengthen you. Philippians 4:13, I can do everything God asks me to with the help of Christ who gives me the strength and power. And so whatever it is that God's asking you to do, Christ is there waiting to strengthen and empower you to do it. All we need to do, here I am, totally at your service. Thank you so much for being a church that welcomes us and allows us to share from our hearts. God bless you. We're here. There's some stories from 2024 over there. There's a document that tells you when we say we're Christian, what do we mean? There's a book that I've written that if you want the book, you have to make a donation to Flame. Okay? And there's a magic little machine that when you type in a number and whack your card on it, it's magic. It just takes it out of your account and it puts it into Flame. And then we send you a tax receipt and the government gives you third of it back. It's magic. So, use the magic. Thank you.